Hi, greetings to Dr. Lucy. I'm Eva representing FACEE, FACEE. Our topic is rural poverty in two development projects, which are Bengoh Resettlement Scheme BRS in Sarawak and Program Penempatan Tersusun PPT Kampung Peta in Mersing Johor. Let's get started. Alright, first of all, allow me to briefly explain our issue, which is rural poverty. Regardless of how developed a nation is, there will be an issue about poverty, especially in the rural areas. Poverty is a condition of injustice and tragic in many developing countries for poor households. The poor families are classified on the basis of low income to meet their basic needs, such as lack of educational qualification, lack of land, food, clothes, lack of comfortable living space, and pollution-free. For example, in Malaysia, poor Aborigine communities in the rural areas suffer from excessive violations of their civil and political rights, with their ancestral lands remain under siege, endangering their livelihoods while suffering from a higher rate of poverty. Next, I will introduce the first case study, which is the Bengoh Resettlement Scheme BRS in Sarawak. BRS has 204 units of houses to resettle the population from 4 villages affected by the construction of Bengoh Dam. The 4 villages that were affected were Kampung Tabasaid, Kampung Penbojong, Kampung Rejoy, and Kampung Semban. However, few villagers had refused to resettle at BRS due to the ties to their ancestral land and its sentimental values. It is something new for the villagers to adapt and adopt with new lifestyle given the new environment, new locations, and the need to explore their living conditions from now. The residents in BRS were provided with basic needs such as clean water source, sanitation, electricity, shelter, and land to grow crops. Moving on to the second development project, which is Program Penempatan Tersusun PPT Kampung Peta in Mersing Johor. PPT is a settlement plan initiated by Jabatan Kemajuan Orang Asli for the Orang Asli Jakun community, with aim to raise the socio-economic status of the population while still living in a rural environment, and to provide the Jakun community with basic needs and public facilities for the daily usage. The villagers are able to have stable incomes as PPT is located nearby Endau Rompin Johor National Park, a tourist attraction destination. In this research, we use two approaches to analyze the development projects. The approach are Basic Needs Approach and Grassroots Development Approach. Now, what is Basic Needs Approach? Basic Needs Approach was introduced by the International Labour Organization ILO Director General in the World Employment Conference 1976. BNA is aimed to reduce poverty among the impoverished in order to combat famine and undernourishment, declining health, clean water and sanitation, illiteracy and other services to achieve subsistence and live decent lives. BNA also enhanced the accessibility of the underprivileged to basic consumption so that they can reach stability. BNA begins with creating prospects for the complete physical, mental, and social growth of human personality. In simple words, BNA is to distribute basic resources or needs to certain groups who are unfortunate. Basic Needs Approach is used to analyze the outcomes on Bengoh Resettlement Scheme. In BRS, the government provided basic necessities and infrastructures such as clean water, electricity supplies, accessibility like roads. Previously, the Bidayuh community from 4 villages had faced difficulties regarding electricity and accessibilities. In addition, facilities such as 2 church, a primary school, 4 multi-purpose halls and football field were built for the usage of the Bidayuh local community. With BRS being implemented and developed, the community can live their lives easier as their standard of living improve. In BNA, this development project fulfilled both aspects, which are first, to provide a certain minimal provisions of a household for domestic consumption, which include sufficient food supply, accommodation, garments as well as home furniture. Second, to supply vital services delivered by and for the local population such as clean drinking water, sanitation, proper sewage disposal as well as health and educational institutions. Moving on to the second approach, Grassroots Development Approach, GDA. GDA is a bottom-up approach as it is a community-based which enables the community to address local issues, find common grounds, and balance competing interests. It encourages diversity and sustainability, concentrating solely on capacity building. GDA enhanced the living standards of indigenous communities in 3 different aspects: politically, socially, and economically. It is a multi-dimensional system that requires significant shifts in social systems, state of life, and participation of rural populations in choices that impact their lives. In simple words, GDA allows discussion of local concerns, reach an understanding, and balance conflicting interests. In this research, GDA is used to analyze the outcomes of Program Penempatan Tersusun PPT Kampung Peta. PPT is equipped with infrastructure such as 60 low-cost houses under the housing program for the hardcore poor, PPRT, and variety of basic amenities to improve the lives of the Jakun community. PPT allows the Jakun community of Kampung Peta to enhance their cultural aesthetics value through the project implemented in their area, including public utilities, commercial plant projects, and the provision of better communication systems. Due to their locations near the national park, PPT helps the Jakun community of Kampung Peta to improve their socio-economic status, as the locals are allowed to engage in commercial activities such as producing and selling traditional equipment, handicrafts, and garments. The Jakun community could also utilize their skills to become boat drivers, tour guides, and work at the Endau Rompin National Park as well. Now, we will compare the two approaches, starting with basic needs approach. The approach is easy to operationalize. B&A also enhance the quality of impoverishment folks as basic needs are equipped, provided, and easy to access by the communities. However, its weaknesses are the consumption bundle are personally decided by a few professionals. B&A also neglects the fact that people may value certain needs over the others. B&A is also solely a consumption-based view as this approach emphasizes on monetary deprivation, specifically overestimating quantitative factors. Now, for grassroots development approach. The strength of this approach include a community can effectively, efficiently utilize their intellect, innovations, and other resources to further evolve themselves. GDA also take in locals in the identification of their needs and conceptions in order to decide what is good and suitable for the community itself. Meanwhile, its weaknesses are such as varying livelihoods, motivations, impact of development on individuals are not recognized. Lastly, GTA hardly makes any serious impact on the lives of locals, including the lack of sustainability. That's all from us. Thank you.